I hope you have got your things together. I hope you are quite prepared to die. It looks like we're in for nasty weather. One eye is taken for an eye. Don't go round tonight. It's bound to take your life. Okay. I'm not allowed to play that game at parties. Well, I'm obviously not afraid to make a fool of myself. And I have been shown a few times to be wrong. And, DarwinsHamster, Joe, he made a video and he was saying how some people would be hurt if they were shown to be wrong, and the attitude that we should take if we are to not be hurt by people showing us to be wrong. And most likely, well, all of us are wrong in at least something. So everything I put on these videos, I am at least going to be wrong in something in them. So I think you should go watch his video. He makes some good points. He also talks about me making these videos against Muslims and the Quran. I can hardly pronounce any of the words. I have some transliteration. I don't even have a good Arabic dictionary. So in order to know the meanings of the words, I've got to look through the transliteration of the Quran and try to find similar words and try to deduce what the different syllables changing in the words, how that affects the meaning and all of this kind of stuff. And of course I am against people. I am arguing against people that some of which I'm sure would give their life to save this book. So yeah, it's pretty intense, I think, making these videos. But I realize that, and I think I should be proven wrong more than I am. I don't know if more people are just not watching my videos, or if I'm just happen to have got it right. I have no idea. But it feels like I'm running through a minefield, and I could be blown to smithereens any second. This video, I am going to I am going to prove that the Quran was not written by Allah. Now, in order for me to do this, I have to make a few assumptions, as with all proofs. If you reject these assumptions that I'm going to make, then of course the proof is not valid. The first one is that Allah wrote the Quran. Allah intends people to read it and to follow the Quran. No human law can override the Quran, since it's written by Allah. So if it has a rule, no human moral or anything else can override it. Let's see, the people that are to be following the Quran, or Muslims. It doesn't apply to anybody else. Let's see what else. Oh yes, Allah understands that people have limited sensor capabilities, we have limited senses, and we have limited processing capabilities. We can only understand so much. And often we draw the wrong conclusions because we don't have all the information. Not that we are in error, but just because we don't have all the information. And Allah should know this. One more thing. There is a verse in the Quran, which I am going to say, for the sake of argument, that it says that if harm is done to you, then you are to retaliate in exactly the same manner, with exactly the same wrong, but never overstepping the bounds. So if somebody wrongs you in some way, in like manner you are to retaliate. And I think this only applies to Muslims retaliating against other people. Okay, well, taking all that, let's see how that actually holds up. We all know the Hatfields and McCoys. Well, this time we're going to have the Hatfields and McCoys, except they're going to be Muslims. Now, the Hatfields and McCoys, they disagree with each other. I don't know if you want to assume that they believe that the others follows the Quran, but they certainly believe that they are Muslims themselves. Now they disagree, but they've never gotten into a fight because they should not oppress other people or something like this. But okay, that's fine. One day, Billy, he's a Hatfield, he's playing baseball near a McCoy's house. So he's playing baseball, and the McCoy isn't quite looking, or the Hatfield, or whoever. So the boy hits the ball, and it flies through the guy's window. Now, the boy is about to go tell the guy that he is sorry, and he's made a mistake, but the boy's father calls him off. And he determines that he's going to go apologize as soon as he can. So he goes running off to his father. But as the window breaks, the other guy sees the boy run off and says, well, if he would have been an honest boy and he didn't mean to do this to me, since he is from the other side and I'm over here and Hatfields and McCoys are disagreeing, perhaps he was doing it from malice. I mean, you know, people do these kind of things. Perhaps he's not really following the Quran after all. Well, of course, I have to. And the boy would have apologized if he did it by accident. So the guy, following the Quran, he picks up the baseball, goes over to the neighbor's house while his neighbor is not there, and breaks the window with the baseball. In like manner, but not exceeding anything. He's not exceeding the damages or anything like this. The other guy comes back, sees his window broken, and his son has gotten cut by the glass. So, of course, he follows the Quran. His neighbor has now caused his son to be cut. He doesn't really care about the glass, so he goes over with a knife and determines to cut the guy in like manner. Of course, the guy isn't expecting it, so when the guy attacks him and cuts him, he determines that it causes a lot of pain and it's going to take a long time to heal. So he determines that he's going to hurt the other guy. You know where this is going. On and on and on. They start fighting more and more and more, trying to equal out the retribution of the other person, and it never gets settled. Well, eventually the boy, he says that he's sorry, and the guy says, okay, he accepts his apology. But now the two Hatfields and McCoys, they're both attacking each other. One attacks the other, and the other has to have retribution. And, of course, further and further and further killing and murder and everything. Is this likely to happen? Well, we can see the Sunnis and the Shiites. They're doing exactly this. How is the fighting ever to stop? It can't. If Allah wants us to follow the Quran, He obviously didn't anticipate how this rule would really work out. I guess He thinks that sometimes we'll forget about enacting this rule. Oh, well, you know, maybe they just didn't mean to harm me and I'll forgive them. But if they do enact this rule, then there's no way out of the violence. There is a good movie. I'm not really a Stephen King fan, but the movie Needful Things. It's a very enlightening movie, I think, and it's exactly about this point. When people have turned each other by the devil, and everybody thinks that everybody else is against them, when they're really not. They're just doing small things, but eventually they start having retribution against each other, even on their own will, without the devil paying them to break glasses or egg somebody's house or something like this. I think it was tomatoes. For just small trinkets. And of course the boy, anyway, it's a good movie, you ought to watch it. Not as good as Pet Sematary, but certainly better than Tommy Knockers or any of those other junk movies. Langoliers, oh my gosh. Needful Things, definitely need to watch that. So if Allah wrote the Quran, He obviously did not watch Needful Things, or perhaps He is the devil. Perhaps He does want us to end up in that situation. In any case, it cannot have been written by Allah. Dun 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 ba 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 da ba da dun 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 dun.